Welcome back to Echobloom. I'm Skylar Funk, singer and main songwriter of the band Trapdoor Social. This series is meant to share a little bit about our process, ourselves, the origins of songs, and the stories of how they were made. For more, please follow Trapdoor Social on Instagram, support our Patreon, where content like this is always released first, and buy our music and merch at trapdoorsocial.com. Echobloom is the album that brought in our first record deal and was printed on our first vinyl. We're happy to reminisce and eager to share stories from its creation. Let's get into it. In 2019, we had the great opportunity to open for the B-52s on their European farewell tour in 9 dates across Europe and the UK. We went, brought a full-size band, and even included Hyde Park Brass from Leeds, UK, who played as our horn section on those shows. It was awesome getting to know the B-52s, their wonderful team, their legendary sound man, Frank Gallagher. He, by the way, has an awesome podcast too called Soundman Confidential. Check it out. And of course, the B-52s themselves. Fred was hilarious backstage, would chat with us. We would chat before and after the shows, congratulate each other on good sets. They were all very friendly and accommodating and kind to us as a newer band that was on this awesome adventure opening for them. There was definitely some hilarious backstage banter. Fred Schneider once called me tempting, which may or may not need to be stricken from the record. But obviously, he is a sweet, kind, flamboyant, amazing individual, and it was great to develop a friendship with that band. Fred, in particular, was very warm, gave me his phone number, and we were in touch after the tour, and we had this song, Prophit, that had a shout-along section in the chorus, and something about it spoke to me, not just as a sound that should be shouted by my band, but that could have a spoken vocal over it, and why not the iconic Fred Schneider rock lobster type of voice. So I bothered Fred a bunch during pandemic. I sent him a few texts. I asked him really nicely. Obviously, he was locked down and didn't have easy access to a studio most of the time, but he was willing to work with us. He responded very kindly. He said he would do his best. Several months later, after pinging him a couple of times, he was able to meet up with Sterling, their drummer and producer friend who was able to work with him as an engineer, and recorded the vocal, and the crowd goes wild with a big loud "ah!" Sent us 5 takes of it. We were able to go through that and figure out the best one to use for this song. Prophit as a song with a commentary on religion. I think the story is the idea of this person who is inventing something and who's creating their own backstory, creating their own mythos, kind of brushing up an attitude of untouchability, a kind of lore, a special backstory. And so I had a playful time writing what might be the backstory of a self-proclaimed prophet. The verses tell the story of being lost, the wandering through the desert type of chapter of their experience. And the pre-chorus, sing, tell them what you've seen, is a call by that higher power. Prophit is a playful jab at religion. For me, a non-believer, these things from an outside perspective all just seem made up. The song was written by Trapdoor Social in one of our many pre-pandemic writing sessions. I believe I remember cooking this up at Andrew Remley's apartment, where we often met up to write on the west side. Eric Graves would have been there, Louis Gonzalez, Grant Dickerson, Andrew, and myself. I can definitely attribute some of the darker harmonic energy. These are some of the players who have pushed for stranger sounds and less obvious harmonic choices. So the chord progression of this song is a little bit darker and more twisted than I might gravitate to as a songwriter typically. But I've often been helped by these guys in pushing myself out of my own little box in that way. Prophit is a song that is especially fun to play live. A certain stylistic choice I've been making for Trapdoor Social in recent recordings is to always emulate backing vocals. Some of my childhood favorite bands were using great backup vocalists to emphasize their songwriting. Bands like Weezer, Cake, Death Cab for Cutie, Jimmy Eat World, these were some of the artists that I was listening to growing up, and the amount of energy that you can feel added to their songs by backing vocals is something that is written into my DNA as a songwriter. But beyond just singing parts, I've been experimenting with backing vocals that are shouting and talking. On Prophit, I knew this had to be the style. That part is to be shouted. Unless, of course, you're Fred Schneider, and then talk it however you want to talk it. The song is particularly fun to play live for this reason. The energy that is added by my bandmates shouting along in the chorus is awesome, and we even get the crowd involved too. With the big loud "ah" is a sound I can feel coming through my in-ears or feel coming past the monitors and hitting us on stage. As with the song Loneliness and most of the album, this song was recorded and produced by Schneider. It's one of the few songs that doesn't have horns on it that stood out to us as special, the energy of which definitely got us carried away. The collaboration with Fred Schneider was a blast, and it was the first song we felt the need to share from this album cycle, having released it long before the album.
And the crowd goes wild with a big loud
Thanks for listening. Thanks as well to Bob and Lisa at Pasadena Records, who believed in Echobloom enough to print it on vinyl. Thanks to Bruce Rave, our manager, great radio host, and friend. Thanks to Merritt and Kurt and everyone who's ever recorded us, written or played with us, or seen us in concert. We couldn't do it without you. See you next time.